Well, what's up, YouTubers? You're with Got That Funk, and this video response goes out to my friend Abaddon5, and his recent video is Anti-Theism, a Mental Disorder. How you doing, man? I watched your video with great interest, and I'm not going to address all the things you brought up in it because a lot of it was sort of, YouTube interpersonal drama history from going back from years ago, and I understand why you brought all that stuff up, but it's not really germane to what I want to talk about, so I'm going to leave it aside and talk about the title of your video and the content at the end, which was more addressing that title. Um, I don't know, personally for me, I've never really been down with anti-theism. Um, it's very tempting as a non-believer to assume that the world might be a better place if we had no religion and no belief in God. However, it is just an assumption. It's any speculation in that regard is just that, it's speculation. You can't necessarily know what the overall or long-term impact of such a state of affairs would be. Um, it's like I say, it's tempting to just assume it because I prefer to be surrounded in a world where people have a similar apprehension to myself about what constitutes reality. But I'm also convinced personally that the same part of the brain which can wrap itself around convincing itself that there's a being that created everything is such a fantastic leap away for the creative mind to make from the logical mind. And I have to feel that if the creative mind is capable of dreaming up something so blatantly preposterous and accepting it as true, that same creativity, that same impulse in the brain might suffer if you take away the possibility of the extreme, which in my opinion would be what you call the belief in God. If you take away that kind of extreme creativity, creativity is necessarily diminished in general, and what sort of knock-on effects might it have? I mean, we don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater here. I really feel that militant atheists who also disregard the intellect of a believer based on the fact that they believe in God is snobbish in an embarrassing way. I'm not really down with that one either. Um, I feel that obviously there's intelligent and less intelligent people, believers and non-believers both. So it's a completely neutralizing point. There's no point to be made there. I feel the same way about when people say, "Oh, good person, bad person," or whatever. Quite frankly, I think most people would describe themselves as trustworthy. I think most people would describe themselves overall as a good person. But the fact is, we're all fallible with human frailties and inherent human flaws, and none of us is a paragon of moral virtue, not one. So I find it ironic when people try to conflate belief or lack of belief in that argument as well. If you take God out of the world, people will still have all those inherent flaws. So if you take the people's belief away, even if there was no negative psychological associative problems like I mentioned before, you still are in a situation where people are going to take advantage of one another for their own personal gain from time to time. They're going to hurt each other from time to time. It's going to happen. And I don't think the world in that sense would be substantially changed at all. Right, last but not least, I just want to address something specific that you said in your video. You did mention when you were going through your history of YouTube drama part, Cult of Dusty, whose name is Dusty Smith. And Abaddon 5, you mentioned that your name is David Smith, but you vehemently insisted that you and Dusty Smith are not related. Well, I hate to be the one to break it to you, my friend, but everyone whose last name is Smith is related to everyone else whose last name is Smith. You guys all share a common ancestor, and this has been proven by science, and they named it Australosmithicus, or more commonly known as Homo Homo Yo Mama,